Oh, sorry. Who was I doing there for a second? Ah dear, it's been a long time where I've done a video about one of his videos, Lloyd Evans' video. It's been a long time, to be fair on, so I've knocked it on the head. As most of you know, I think it's probably been over a year. It may be longer, I don't really know, but it's been a hell of a long time. However, occasionally I do dip my toe into the long thread about it's been a long 9 years. Lloyd Evans, I think it's probably, is it now, it's been a long 10 years, putting into a long 11 years. And his latest video was put up saying the Lloyd Evans Scandal, the aftermath, where there's a picture of him like that. You know, what's that all about? And obviously by using the title, the aftermath, it is a clear link to, of course, the aftermath of the Church of Scientology Netflix series by that lassie who's his ex-best mate. That one there. So anyway, I did watch it. I shouldn't have, to be honest with you, because obviously it all leads to his viewing fix, but I had to watch it. I thought, I need to watch this. And then lo and behold, 3 has become 1. Yeah, 3 has become 1, because it seems as though now he's closing down his production company, and he's no longer employing himself, his wife, or Gracious Tibor. I'm wondering what's happened to all the Gracious Tibor merchandise. I wonder if Tibor was giving them as a wee payoff, and there you go, son. You know, if you can get a few wee groats together, you know, for your mugs and t-shirts and baseball caps and whatever, or badges, good on you. So I don't know what happened to the Gracious Tibor merchandise. But clearly they've, I think they've just got devalued overnight, because obviously Tibor isn't gracious enough to work for free. Yeah, I watched the video, and to be honest with you, oh my God, I really don't know what to say. It seems as though it seems as though yet again, and I hate to bring this up yet again, it's all this thing about him having a mental breakdown, taking a sort of break, and then going to and a person who already has a prostitute addiction goes to, of all places in the world, Thailand, and this thing that he keeps on repeating, that he dated a sex worker. Wowee. I've said this before, and it's been a long time to say it again. You know, again, how would you date a sex worker? How does that work? Do you take them to the movies? Do you go out to a nice little restaurant? Do you go for a walk on the beach? Walk in the park? You know, is there a long-term goal in the dating? You know, how are you trying to get a relationship? You know, this is sort of like, it's Ross Geller sort of stuff, but we were on a break. You know, he goes all the way over there, that there's problems in the marriage, and he goes to, of all places, Thailand, and instead of going for sort of somewhere to sort out his head, he actually, he gets his head sorted out by somebody else. It's just bizarre. Dated a sex worker, and then, you know, you go, I just don't get it. Just be honest enough to just actually say, yeah, while I was over there, I went back to default Lloyd Evans and got involved with paying another prostitute for the services. It's stunning. Dated a sex worker, and that's it. There's no mention in the video of that he had a prostitute addiction, and he had been using them for about 4 years or whatever it was, and going to Thailand was just like, you know, just where do you want to go? Yeah, it's just really poor. And there's loads of different comments on the thread about this. It's bizarre, because he's I'll read you maybe a couple of things. One of these things is Lloyd declares that he is not a criminal, and in fact is a good man, yet he continues to call other people criminals all over social media. Even defendants in criminal court, let alone those involved in civil disputes, are not called criminals until they're actually found guilty of something. That's a really valid point by whoever this person is on the thread. It's a really good point. He still calls the Magnificent Seven, you know, that they are, you know, they are criminals. Yet again, how did he put it? The Croatian legal system is glacially slow, and yet he was supposed to, apparently he already knows what he's found fault in other people's videos, which apparently is defamatory and lies or blatant whatever, and he was supposed to reveal these, you know, to his adoring public to say, yeah, that video there, they said that and this is done. And yet, if you see the very last part of his video where there's a whole montage of other people have put other videos up there, surprise, surprise, I wasn't including the montage, so lucky me, but there's a whole montage of people in there talking about Lloyd Evans, and clearly he does spend a hell of a lot of time watching watching these videos produced by other people when they do something about him. And yet, in doing these things, he's never yet come back and said, oh, this person at this point in this video is why I'm raising an action against them. There's nothing. And he says to his dying breath, if I remember the words, that he will continue to clear his name. You know, he cares so much about his reputation and being a father, and his kids not to grow up and Google daddy's name and then go, oh my God, did you really leave us after Christmas and disappear to the other side of the world for New Year's Eve, and started to date a sex worker, because he's admitted that that's exactly what he did. Yes, it's bizarre. I'm struggling with this song. I'm staggered by this, and I watched it all. In fact, I don't really need to read anybody's comments actually, because I think it's basically it's the same thing. It's a case of again blaming Kim Silvio for everything. You're trusting in a friend, and yet again this whole thing that he's saying that none of his, once he got paid by his Patreon people and they put coffers into his bank account, that once he says he got rid of all the things relating to his spurting out of more produce, it was up to him what he then did with that money. Because initially they all took he dealt with all the things that they paid money for, and when it went to this trip to Thailand, and I don't know how much it costs to date a sex worker over there. I'm using that to trying to keep my sides from splitting with that term. And he said it's all right. He didn't then have to then say sorry to Patreon workers who thought that all the money that they sent to him, that he was going to use it to try and bring down the watchtower. Instead, as we know, certain funds were to pay gracious Tibor and for him to jet around here, there and everywhere, pay for his hotel fees, seek a prostitute for the night, and then eventually to leave his wife and kids just after Christmas and spend New Year in Thailand with more prostitutes. It's just bizarre, and yet that was all right. And how much it costs, but he thinks that was all right, that he's done nothing wrong, and he keeps on saying that he's done nothing wrong. However, he continues to avoid the fact that prostitution is illegal. I don't know, there's many places where yes, prostitution is absolutely is legal, and anybody who gets the services of a prostitute, there's not a problem there. I'm sure in most countries it is still illegal. So he was engaging or getting somebody to engage in a criminal act or an illegal act. So I'm not buying this whole he's done nothing wrong. He seems to be saying that he's going to now start to he's in, what did he say, he's like in a tanker and he only knows to go one direction, and he's wanting to sort of get away from the whole Jehovah's Witness thing, because it is so toxic in his words, but he only knows one way to go at the moment because he's a tanker. I can think of another word that rhymes with tanker but it has a W, because he's definitely one of those. So anyway, it's just odd that he is a tanker, right? He's the biggest tanker I know, and yet he can only go one direction. It's going to take a long time to eventually to stir that ship round to doing something else, and he thinks he wants to do something else and keep away from the old witnessy thing and to start doing other things. That's what his end game is. It's bizarre, because at the end of the day, because he's so toxic and affected him, and I said, and I've said this several times before, long time ago, when the shit hit the fan, I said that at that time the best thing he could do for him and his family, his mental health, to actually just call an end to his social media, just actually bring it to an abrupt end, leave the videos that were, leave the channel it is, because there was some stuff in there that obviously did benefit people. Leave it as it was and go and get a job. Go and get a job, concentrate on the people he claims he loves, his children and his wife. Go and get a job and keep well away from social media. But the narcissistic behaviour of this, can he let it go? Can he let it go? So he went away and it was, I'm back. Oh my God, oh my God. You know, that, you know, what would that they, you know, talk about, you know, captain of the ship, is, I think Tibor leaving, I think it's the only time I can, it was the same when lots of people started leaving Boris Johnson, and a guy at the time, I think it was Keir Starmer said, this is the first record of the ship leaving the sinking rat. And this is the same thing with Gracia Tibor. It literally is a ship leaving the sinking rat, because he is going down. He's going down. His Patreon's done. It's about 469 now, and he is in slippery slope to obscurity. And he's only going to do a couple of videos a week now, and he's not going to do any rebuttals. Blah blah blah. He's just become obsolete. He's just become unimportant. And there's other people who do all these things now within the witnessing world who are far more important than he actually thinks he once was. Nobody's ever going to leak him any stuff ever again. He's never going to get people who are involved in high profile cases want to be interviewed by him, just because he is damaged now and he's completely irrelevant within the witnessing world. If only he'd taken my advice back then, stepped away from it and just go and get a job, like we all have to do. Instead, no, it was way beneath him. He just thought he was some, I don't know, you know, some person who was important, you know, whistleblower, and that, you know, he was out busy saving lives, and it was, you know, he couldn't let these people down, when in fact me and thousands of others felt personally let down by him, because he produced an image of himself which is complete bollocks, and we can only again thank him, Sylvia, for blowing the lid on that one. It seems as though he's coming to the end of this now. He's going to step away from the witness thing, and he's going to do other stuff not related to witnesses, and the sooner that happens, maybe he should go back to growing tomatoes in Croatia. I don't really know, but do anything bar upon, you know, comment on all things witnessy. You can step away from that, because when you get involved in something called work, there's very little time to do other stuff, because you're so wrapped up in your employment, and then of course looking after your family, so you don't have this time to spend all this time to just keep on, you know, going over witnessy stuff time and time again, which is what I felt, but I've found, because I've hardly been doing any witnessy things at all, apart from when, as I've said recently, when the witnesses have been there in my face, or have written to me, or written to my work, and then I tend to do something. But anything else, I hardly any do anything at the moment, because I just don't have time, and I've got other things to do. And that's what happens when you have a job. Lloyd Evans, if you're listening. So anyway, I don't really have any more to say apart from that. I think this definitely is the end game. This may be the last video hopefully I'll ever do about him. I think we're coming to the end of this now. I'll put a link there if anybody wants to watch the video for themselves. It's up to themselves, but it's up to you. Yeah, you won't find any truth there, unfortunately. No truth, no revelations, and the aftermath of this all is that his reputation is finished, and to me he is finished as somebody who is a spokesman for the XJW community, and he is completely, utterly irrelevant now, and should just go and get a job, like we all have to do. Anyway, bye bye. Nice to see you. Bye bye.